Bye, sweet Sally.
Breadwood. Back to Breadwood.
Oh, you spot a guy riding down the road on a brown horse, wearing a brown fur hat, and carrying a brown shopping bag with a brown loaf of stolen bread sticking out the top. You can tell it's stolen because the bag has a little picture of a loaf of bread on it. He rides up and brandishes a great big loaf of bread at you. Hand over all your bread or I'll bludgeon you to death.
Jeez, you sure like bread, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of my thing. Maybe if we...
Okay, I get it. Like, living in Sweden as an Austrian, I get it. You get desperate for good bread.
Yeah.
You'll threaten him right back.
But what if you fight him and then you get his bread weapon, which might be a pain?
I think I can still get it. Oh, yeah, it might be a pain.
It's gonna be a pain, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think I can get it if I threaten him right back.
I don't know if... Maybe he'll just leave, yeah.
I ain't afraid of you or your bread. I'll turn you into croutons, and I'll turn those croutons into breadcrumbs, and I'll feed those breadcrumbs to ducks.
Not ducks! The bandit wheels his horse around and rides away in a panic. No, he didn't get the pain.
Maybe I wouldn't have gotten it. We can look it up later.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
But the question is that pain gonna be better than Saint Beefus's thigh?
No, probably not. Just would have been a fun item description to read. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, finally.
Woohoo! Well, that is definitely going to improve the situation around here. Thank ya.
Yeah, I just hope to never see another form again.
Well, offer to help with his problems.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll look at the problems board.
Skeleton raids, that's the only one we got left.
Skeleton raids.
There's a military cemetery not far from here, and I figure something must have happened to the caretaker because military skeletons keep wandering out this way and causing a ruckus.
All right, I'll check it out. I feel like, haven't we already been at the military? We've been at so many.
It was like Fort
cemeteries.
Aldet or something?
No, that's something different. The military cemetery. No, I have not been at the military cemetery.
Oh, okay. I guess we're going to the military cemetery.
Yeah. We are going to the military cemetery.
Oh my god. It's the Church of the Eternal Flame.
Oh my god. Flashbacks to earlier today because I've been playing a lot of Witcher recently.
Anna has finally, 10 years after the fact, I guess. Man, how long has it been? Is it 10 years?
Nah, 7-ish.
I was still working retail when...
We were together when the game launched.
Were we?
Yeah.
Because I was still working retail, but maybe I was still just working retail during weekends while I was in law school.
Let's see.
I do remember standing in my retail store and instead of working, just watching a trailer for Witcher 3 on my phone. because fuck working hard, people. Work smart, not hard. And don't work all that much.
May 2015, we were together. 2015,
so that is 7 years ago. Me and Anna are actually running up on 8. This is gonna be our 8th year together. We're hitting the anniversary pretty soon. It's in September.
It's true.
So 1 year in, yeah. I was still working retail during the weekends while I was in law school.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you made me play Witcher 1.
Yes, and Witcher 2, but you never finished it.
Yeah, I still haven't finished it. It's like when you pick up a game halfway through and you can't remember any of the mechanics, and I was having such a hard time with all the controls. I was like, fuck it.
And it's like, gotta start from the beginning again.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that either. So I put off Witcher 3 because I never finished Witcher 2, and at some point 2 weeks ago or so, I was like, whatever. Anyway. Yeah. Let's investigate.
It's a shanty. You poke around in the shed. The caretaker appears to have been shirking his duties for quite a while, judging by the dust and the cobwebs. Looks like the mayor was right about him having wandered off. Guess you're gonna have to fetch him back here to do his job.
Okay, this could also be a quest from The Witcher.
I guess.
Have a look at the tools.
Well, tool, singular. There's a shovel there. Since you already have a shovel, you leave it alone. It's not like you'll be able to dig twice as fast.
True.
Uh-huh.
Under the chair.
Like all chairs owned by one guy, it has years worth of lint and food crumbs underneath it.
Ew. Gross. Scope out the disc.
It's covered with old paint-splattered newspapers and features a large collection of tiny jars of paint, as well as a jar of fine-tipped brushes, a can of thinner, and a stack of history books.
Curious. The flyer's tacked to the wall.
What if it's like just swastikas? It's like, oh man. You find a flyer for a military reenactment enthusiast society. Apparently they meet regularly at Fort Memoriam. Maybe that's where the caretaker went.
I mean, all he had to do is stay here and he could watch a military reenactment.
I guess so.
Alright. What's in here?
The Eternal Flame and a goblin.
Who's roasting something over the Eternal Flame.
Ah, makes sense.
A hot dog.
Is this burning an eternal flame? Yes.
Ugh, I hate that song.
Really? No, it's a good song.
I despise it.
No, really?
Yes.
No, it's a good song.
It's one of those songs our music teacher constantly made us sing in high school. It was part of his small repertoire. And then Atomic Kitten went and did a remake of it, and it was constantly on the radio as well. I hate this song.
I have a thing about like doing remixes of wildly successful, wildly popular songs. Because it's like, you're not gonna improve on it. It can only get worse. Take a song that's like mid, and then you can do like a banger remix of it. But just taking a song that's like already a classic, then go fuck yourself, you talentless piece of shit.
I hate this song. Anyway.
That is... What else from that era? Like, do you like Simply Red?
It's okay.
It's okay. Because that's in the same veneer. I'm gonna say like Bryan Adams, like the old the rock ballad era.
Fondness for Bryan Adams.
Okay, there we go. There we go. So rock ballads can still be like a thing, right?
Yeah, not all rock ballads are bad. It's just yeah.
All right. Well, this goblin is roasting a weenie over the eternal flame.
You know, Bryan Adams, I think, made, for example, the title song to... I think it is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves
with Kevin Costner.
Which is an awful movie that has a special place in my heart. It's one of my... for these questions that sometimes pop up on Reddit or something, where it's like, what's a movie that is just bad, but you still love it despite its flaws, and this is it for me. It's like a big part of it is Alan Rickman, but not the only part of it. It's like so campy and so dumb and all of it, and Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams just kind of like, it's like the icing on top of it.
It's so shitty, right? Everything about it. Like yeah. Kevin Costner as Robin Hood is a shitty casting. And like having
fucking Midwestern accent.
Yeah.
He's not even trying. And then Christian Slater as
Slater. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
And then I think isn't Morgan Freeman is in there as well.
Yes, Morgan Freeman's in there too.
And then Alan Rickman, of course, is great. And then
yeah, but you know what you're gonna get when you sign Alan Rickman.
And then there's like, Sean Connery in there and all of this.
Wait, was Sean Connery in that?
He was Richard Lionheart, I think.
Oh my god.
And then also it's so many people.
But didn't Sean Connery do some stupid like medieval shit together with like Richard Gere as well, like some sort of Camelot bullshit?
Probably. He's done a lot of bad movies.
Why did people think Sean Connery was like good? He it was like The Rock, right? With Nick Cage, because like he did James Bond, And then he did The Rock with Nicolas Cage. And it's like, did he do anything good besides... Yeah, Highlander. Yeah, Highlander.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I guess he has a decent body of work after all.
Kevin Costner as Robin of Locksley. Morgan Freeman as Azim Eddin Bashir al-Bakir. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio as Lady Marian. She was also big in the 90s. Christian Slater. Alan Rickman. Geraldine McEwen. Michael McShane. Brian... Wait, Michael McShane. That name rings a bell as well.
It does ring a bell.
But I can't place it.
This is great content.
Yeah, Sean Connery as King Richard. Uncredited, but I mean, you know who it is.
Uncredited?
I guess he's not credited, but he's on the screen in the end, like as King Richard coming back, the benevolent ruler.
That must have been like... Is that like the final scene in the movie? Just like...
Yeah, I think so. Because he then performs their wedding ceremony, I think.
That is the worst.
And... Yeah.
Wow, what a piece of shit. And it's like... It's also a...
Richard Lionheart was a terrible monarch.
Yeah, it's also like the... Molière? Is that like a Molière ending?
What?
Where you always have like the nobility riding in to just save the day at the end of the play.
I'm not sure actually, but
because that was a thing at the time, where it's like in order to get your play approved, so that you had to suck off the nobility, and you had to like present the nobility or the king as like the hero or whatever. But at the same time, they didn't want to, because the nobility were actually a piece of shit. So what you did was, you squeezed in like their screen time to an absolute minimum. So it was typically just that like the very last scene of the play, you had the nobility or the king just show up out of nowhere and just save the day for everyone and be a hero, and then the play ends immediately. And that's enough. That's enough for the king to sign off on the play, and then you can show it to people.
I'm not super familiar with that. I think the thing that I know, like from a lot of like let's say German plays and operas, was you couldn't make the nobility look silly. So if you had comedies, you would always have two plots, right? The one with all of the noblemen and women, and those were all like serious, and they were.
Oh, okay.
And then you had the serfs. They were the comic relief, so to speak. But what you're saying makes sense to me, so it's entirely possible. The point is, Richard the Lionheart was a terrible ruler, constantly off on his crusades, never there, never did anything. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that the whole, like, him being gone and whatnot, actually, I mean, it really depends on your point of view. Like, from the point of view of the rabble, like me, it was probably a good thing in the sense that the direct consequence of that was that John II, his successor, right, he was then kind of pushed into signing the Magna Carta, which limited royal power and gave more power to, other lords and whatever, away from just one guy calling all of the shots, because everyone's so fucking sick of the king just not being there.
Yeah.
And they were so used to having more power while he was gone that when his successor kind of ascended the throne and wanted to, be a king, they were like, yeah, we don't really like that anymore.
Well, that's what happened in Sweden as well. Yeah. We had good old Charlie Dozen, right? Charles XII, the little warrior king, who all of the white nationalists, they worship him or whatever because he liked war, but he was always away. He was always away on wars, and during that time we actually had to have like bureaucrats running the country, because little shit king could not be less interested in running the country if he tried. So when he died, he didn't leave any heirs because he wasn't interested in banging either. He just wanted war. And then we had a couple of like weak kings and just from weird parts of the bloodline and all of that shit, and you just during all of this time, it was still just the bureaucrats and the clerks and the politicians running the country, and we were doing fine. Everything was going fine, and then suddenly we have Gustav III, who was sort of like, I am going to reestablish the royal dynasty. I am going to reestablish the position of the enlightened tyrant and become a dictator. And from now on, the absolute monarchy, the king will have all the power again. Promptly assassinated. Immediately. And that was the last we heard of kings trying to take power back in Sweden again.
I want to say, I don't know for your part of it, I want to say from my part of the story, obviously I'm not a historian or a professional. I'm sure whatever I just said was somewhat inaccurate, so don't take your history lessons from me, kids.
So I looked it up while we were talking about Molière and his plays. I looked up, like, for example, here I have the plot of Tartuffe. And you have this whole big plot outline where it's like, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and then, finally, before Orgon can flee, Tartuffe arrives as an officer, but to his surprise, the officer arrests him instead. The officer explains that the enlightened King Louis XIV, who's not mentioned by name, has heard of the injustices happening in the house and, appalled by Tartuffe's treachery toward Orgon, has ordered Tartuffe's arrest instead. It is revealed that Tartuffe has a long criminal history and blah blah blah. So it's literally just the king shows up in the final scene to save the day.
Great.
And that's how the play ends. And apparently this is like the case for a lot of Moliere's plays. They just end with the nobility showing up out of nowhere and saving the day.
That's almost like a Monty Python type ending.
Yeah, or the Deus Ex Machina of the king showing up out of nowhere and saving everyone.
No, but it's like, it's, you know, like in The Holy Grail, it's like, yeah, we ran out of money, so we're just doing this instead.
Like, if you watch Tartuffe and you don't know about this, it's like the ending, it comes completely out of left field. And watching it today, you're like, wow, what a shit ending. What? It just takes you out of it. But then you have to explain, it's like, no, this is what playwrights had to do back then in that era to be allowed to stage the play.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. Back to the plot here.
Back to the plot.
The goblin is roasting a weenie over the eternal flame.
I already said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. We had such a long
Sorry about that
conversation. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that.
You have the goblin voices too, remember?
All right. No, he's going fire, not to wasting it.
You know, he's true.
All right.
He is tell true. Shouldn't waste it.
The flames over that way are all short-lived and uninteresting.
They're not the eternal flame.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing
beyond this gate stand countless rows and columns of tombstones. Well, they're not actually countless. I've counted them, and there are 999 of them. You can visit an individual plot by number if you'd like.
Visit a plot. All right. I'm gonna visit plot number 738.
Well, that is a very specific number. Oh, Major Simon Snow, 66th Beanslinger Division. You can hear this gravestone's resident scratching at its coffin.
Okay, so I can fight skeletons here.
I guess you can fight 999 different skeletons.
Maybe I found somewhere someone specific that's buried in the specific plot.
What if that was the only one that had a person in it? What if you were just lucky and hit the perfect one?
Hard to believe. Where was
the legendary Simon Snow?
Where was that reenactment going on again?
It was like a Fort Memoriam or something.
Was it Fort Memoriam?
I think so. You see what you take to be an oasis in the boiling heat of this region and spur Mr. Snoopy toward it. As you near it, you discover that you've been foiled. It wasn't an oasis at all, but an evil, towering black stone cow monolith. Anyone could make that mistake, really.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't look anything like an oasis.
You can just bang it down.
Yeah, you can just bap it.
Bap it. That was pretty simple, all things considered.
I got an ungulate horn.
And the menudo geode.
Sometimes a pocket of intestine remains behind when the cow undergoes the transition to an infernal ungulate. And you get one of these, a stone sphere full of boiling tripe.